A narrative is a story. Meta means above or over. A meta-narrative, therefore, is a story that claims to be over everything in the sense that this story explains everything. Let me give a homely example tonight. There is a meta-narrative about what is going on this week at Hebron Hall. Suppose an outsider would be watching us. He would see a group of people from all over the world gathering to sing and to pray and to listen to a man teach the Bible on the Lord's Day. He would see the group coming together periodically for speeches. He would see them coming together in the evening to read from Scripture and to pray and sing. He would see them eating in the kitchen. He would see them visiting in small groups throughout the week. He would see a group kicking a round white ball around. And if it dries up, he would see Julian and David hitting a tennis ball back and forth for a while. And that outsider would ask, what explains all this? All these goings on at Hebron Hall in South Wales? And the explanation would be, the British Reformed Fellowship is holding its biennial conference. That's the meta-narrative. The story that overarches all these activities and that explains what is going on. Now, postmodernism disbelieves all overarching explanations of everything. What such story that explains everything comes immediately to your mind? Christianity. The story of the Bible. Christianity's story. That explains absolutely everything. The universe. Its beginning and its ending. The human race and its history. The rise and fall of nations. And also the fall of a sparrow from the housetop. All, such is the Christian narrative, as dependent on the one true God, having as its purpose the glory of God in Jesus Christ and His elect, redeemed church. When Christ returns, raises the dead, and conducts the judgment. Now there are other stories that purport to explain everything. Communism, Marxist communism, was such a story, a meta-narrative. Modernism, as I have briefly outlined it, was such a story that claimed to explain everything. Notice, according to postmodernism, all these narratives, all these purported explanations of everything, and especially Christianity, are merely stories. They are fictitious stories. And postmodernism is incredulous about them all. Disbelieves all of them. None of these stories, especially the Christian story, is true. Here is a description of postmodernism by a sound critic. I quote, "Postmodernists believe that truth is created, not discovered. They think things like reason, rationality, and confidence in science are cultural biases. They contend that those who trust reason and things based on reason, like science, Western education, and governmental structures, unknowingly act out their European cultural conditioning. This conditioning seeks to keep power in the hands of the social elite. End of quote. This is my description of postmodernism. Simplified. Postmodernism is the doctrine, the teaching, that there is no absolute truth or reality because God, the God of the Christian faith, does not exist. And this is the teaching of postmodernism, that man, and spelled man once again tonight with a capital M, that man creates reality and truth for himself. Now, concerning this description of postmodernism, note the following. Take this teaching of postmodernism seriously. Do not dismiss it as a joke or lunacy. You would be inclined to do that. I am inclined to do that. It's worse than lunacy. But I would be tempted or inclined to dismiss it as lunacy. There is no created reality out there, but I create all reality? One must be a madman to teach such a thing, or to believe such a thing. But the heralds of this anti-gospel are in dead earnest. They are actively creating a movement that is going to crush the instituted Christian church and drive Christians out of God's creation. Notice second about this description of postmodernism, that it, like every lie of Satan, is contradictory and thus self-refuting. What am I talking about? Postmodernism's denial that there is any absolute truth is put forward as an absolute truth. This is an absolute truth, says postmodernism. There is no absolute truth. And third, when you cut through the cant, the message of postmodernism is this: man is God. For whoever creates truth and reality is God. And what a daring, dazzling, deifying of man postmodernism is. Man creates truth. Man creates reality. These are the fundamental aspects of postmodernism. First, the Christian God does not exist. The Christian God is no reality. The whole message of salvation in Jesus Christ found in the Bible is a fictitious, fantastic story. It is nothing but a false meta-narrative. The God in the gospel of salvation were the product, says postmodernism, of ambitious men, prophets, apostles, and preachers who desired to gain power over others. Not only does the Christian God not exist, but also no God exists, whether Baal or Allah, or the supposedly supernatural powers of whom the pagans are afraid. All alleged holy writings, all alleged divine revelations, all writings that pretend to give meaning to human life and history are meta-narratives that cannot and must not be believed.